The economic ramifications of the war against Iran continue to mount, build up. We are not in good shape. Now, Faith Birol, who is the head of the International Energy Agency, or IEA, just declared that we are in a historic crisis. Great. So for reference, the IEA is the intergovernmental organization with 32 member countries, right? So this is an international organization that provides policy recommendations for the energy sector, because guess what? Oil and gas is part of a global market, right? It doesn't work the way that Trump would like you to think, where, oh, we got lots of oil and gas and we don't need anybody else. No, it doesn't work that way, homeboy. Actually, he does know that. He does know that, which is why in the beginning of the war, Trump lifted sanctions on Iran so they can sell oil and increase the supply of oil, as oil infrastructure was getting absolutely devastated and destroyed in our Gulf countries, Gulf allied countries, right? So he's like, ooh, that's not good. Oil prices are gonna go up. People are gonna feel it at the pump. So let me lift sanctions on Iran. That's what happened in the very beginning of the war. Okay, so this Faith Birol character says the following: we are facing the biggest energy security threat in history. As of today, we've lost 13 million barrels per day of oil, and there are major disruptions in vital commodities. Here in America, many families are already cutting back on spending. And look, I hate seeing Americans struggle even more than they were already struggling. Okay, it is an injustice of epic proportions. But believe it or not, Americans are still in way better shape than Asian countries. Countries like South Korea, for instance, which are really in a severe crisis. They're considering rationing their energy as a result. I mean, what does South Korea do to deserve this? You know, like, think about the fact that engaging in this war against Iran punishes the entire globe. But let's get back to Americans. The CNBC All-America Economic Survey of 1,000 people found nearly 80% have changed their spending habits in response to pain at the pump. More than 50% believe the increase in gas prices will last 6 months or longer. It'll be longer, my friends. I apologize, but it's just true. About 60% of respondents have cut back on entertainment, like eating out, movies, and concerts to save money. More than 50% plan to travel less. So this is having a domino effect on the broader economy already, and it's only gonna get worse. In fact, some of you might be wondering, well, what's up with the Strait of Hormuz? I mean, Trump says that there's an indefinite ceasefire, but Iran still has control of the Strait of Hormuz, where 20% of the world's oil and gas is transported through. Like, what's going on? Now, around 40% Americans are spending less on essential items like groceries and medical care. And mind you, they were already cutting back on medical care. Some 30% are relying on their credit cards even more at a time when credit card debt is at record levels, and no one in our government has done a damn thing about the greedy usury that's taking place with insanely high interest rates. So on the topic of Donald Trump, the president of the United States, who's supposed to be the leader of this country representing the best interests of the American people, what is he doing about it? He's brushing off concerns about the economy as his approval rating nosedives. So on Tuesday, he recounted the story of how he told his cabinet that he was about to tank the world economy just before launching the Iran war. Let's watch.
I hate to do this to everybody, but I'm going to have to journey down to a place called Iran and not make sure they don't have a nuclear weapon, because they will blow up the world. You want to see a bad stock market? Try blowing up the Middle East and then Europe, and then they come for us, right? And we're not going to let that happen. So I said to my people, they're all gathered, all these wonderful guys, Scott Bessent, the whole group, Howard, they're all doing a good job. I said, fellas, I got a little bad news for you. I'm going to put a little wrinkle in your numbers. Why, sir? We're going down to a place called Iran, and we're going to make sure that they never have a nuclear weapon, because they'll use it to blow up, because they're religious fanatics, and they will use that weapon to blow up the world, but they'll start with Israel and the Middle East, and we're not going to let that happen. And they said, wow, that's going to be bad. I said, yeah, it's going to hurt the market, and it's going to drive up the price of oil and whatever it is, but that's peanuts compared to what would happen if we let this happen. And if you would have told me that the Dow is almost, I'm looking at your thing, I mean, literally we're at 50,000. And if you would have told me that oil is at 90 as opposed to 200, I would be frankly surprised.
You want to talk about religious fanatics? You want to talk about Iran didn't have nuclear weapons. They weren't even building nuclear weapons. You have extremist Israelis trying to bring red heifers into some mosque and sacrifice it because of their religious fanaticism. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? I don't understand Americans who support this. I don't understand. Well, I mean, I understand them if they're Israel supporters and care about Israel more than our country. I understand them. But for the rest of you, please don't get hoodwinked by this garbage. He got hoodwinked so hard. During the election, I remember asking myself, why is Benjamin Netanyahu so H for Trump, right? Because look at Biden. Biden's doing everything Netanyahu wants. Like, what is up with this dude? He's so horny for Trump. What's going on? And I realized what it is. Trump is just dumber. He's just dumber. Congratulations, America.
Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.